The church was quiet, with only the soft sound of crying echoing through the room. Amanda stood at the back, hands clasped, heart racing and her breaths quickening. Everyone was lost in their grief, but inside Amanda, a storm was brewing. A storm that had been held back for years. And then she did the unthinkable. She pushed her mother-in-law, Maria Thompson, in front of everyone. People froze in shock. Some screamed, some just stood there silently. This moment was more than just a push. It was the eruption of years of suppressed anger and hidden secrets. Backstory. Amanda Morgan, 28, was a smart and beautiful woman who had always chosen her own path in life. She had studied abroad and returned home, marrying Michael Morgan, a successful businessman. But after the marriage, Amanda quickly realized one thing. Her mother-in-law, Maria Thompson, was never happy with her. At every family gathering, Maria would deliver subtle criticisms. During meals, she would comment sarcastically on Amanda's cooking or her attire. During holidays and weddings, she would always compare her to other daughters-in-law. Why can't she be like Sarah? At least she knows the family rules. Amanda endured every insult, smiled politely, nodded, and played the role of the perfect daughter-in-law. But over the years, these tiny humiliations and slights built up in her heart like a solid wall. Years of silent suffering, resentment, and tiny wounds had stacked up like bricks inside her. And now at this funeral, the storm was about to break. Characters and relationships. A Amanda Morgan daughter, wife, intelligent, carrying years of hidden anger and emotions. A Michael Morgan, Amanda's husband, successful businessman, loving but often influenced by his mother. A Maria Thompson, mother-in-law, controlling, harsh, constantly critical. A family members, Maria's sisters, Michael's relatives, friends, who are often present at church and family events. Amanda's mental state. Amanda had always wondered how she could be happy when every moment was filled with criticism and impossible expectations. Small things like a meal not being praised, wearing the wrong outfit at a holiday, or Maria's sarcastic remarks about her child, all these had been bottled up inside her until now. Am I supposed to stay silent forever? Is enduring everything my fate? And today that question demanded an answer. Amanda walked into the church, her eyes determined, her heart uneasy. People were crying, whispering, praying. But Amanda's mind was spinning with one thought. Could she endure any longer? Or would she finally release years of pent-up anger? This was the moment she had decided her silence would end. And in the next few seconds, an act would unfold that would shock everyone in the room. The church was silent, with only the soft music and muffled sobs filling the air. Red roses lined the aisles, white candles flickered gently, and guests sat in neat rows, crying and whispering prayers. Amanda walked slowly forward, each step deliberate. Her eyes scanned the faces, but everyone's attention was on her mother-in-law, Maria Thompson. Maria's face was filled with grief and worry, yet a hint of control and authority still lingered in her eyes. Maria's sisters were whispering in a corner of the church. She'll never meet the family's standards. Amanda will never be happy no matter what. Amanda heard it, and a surge of anger rose inside her. Years of hidden resentment and tiny wounds exploded in an instant. Her hands clenched into fists, her heart raced, and her breath came fast. This was the moment Amanda knew she could no longer remain silent. The first confrontation. Amanda took a step forward and then she pushed her mother-in-law. Gasps and screams filled the church. People froze in shock. Some rushed forward to support Maria, while others just stood in disbelief. Maria Thompson stumbled but managed to steady herself with the casket. Michael, Amanda's husband, was stunned. Amanda, why did you do that? His voice trembled, filled with a mix of anger and shock. Amanda looked at him, her eyes a strange blend of defiance and relief. It wasn't just anger. This push was years of silent suffering, a release, and an unspoken message. The crowd's reaction. Some people rushed to help Maria Thompson. Others stood silently, unable to comprehend what had just happened. A whisper spread throughout the church. Did Amanda really do that? I didn't see that coming. Amanda felt every eye on her, every mind trying to understand her action. Yet deep inside, she felt an unexpected sense of relief, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. Amanda remembered all the moments she had endured in silence. The first Christmas with Maria Thompson, full of subtle criticism. weddings and celebrations where she was mocked for trivial things, a constant objections over her children or minor household tasks. All those years of suppressed resentment and humiliation had finally erupted in this single moment. For Amanda, the push wasn't just about anger. It was a release, a statement, and a warning that she would no longer remain silent. The church was buzzing with whispers. Some were crying, some were shocked, and some just stared silently. Amanda's mind had only one question: what will the family do now? And after this act, what hidden secrets might finally come to light? This was the moment when the story's tension had reached its peak, and the next shocking moments for everyone were just seconds away. For a few seconds, the church fell into a terrifying silence, as if everyone had stopped breathing. No one could believe what had just happened. A woman screamed, "Oh my God! Did she just push her own mother-in-law?" A man rushed forward to support Maria, while everyone else stared at Amanda in disbelief. A storm of questions. An elderly woman asked in a trembling voice, "Amanda, why did you do this? Today? In this place?" Another man shouted, "This is a funeral. Have you lost your mind?" Amanda stood still. There were no tears in her eyes, no fear on her face, only years of buried truth waiting to explode. Michael's question. Michael stepped in front of her, his voice shaking with anger and confusion. "Amanda, everyone is watching. Why did you push my mother?" That was the question, the one Amanda had been waiting years to answer. Amanda took a deep breath and spoke loudly for the first time. "Do you all want to know why? Then listen carefully. Because this woman turned me into a living corpse." The whispers in the church stopped instantly. Amanda continued, "Every single day, at every opportunity, she told me I was useless, that I was not a good wife, not a good mother." Maria's sister snapped, "That's a lie." Amanda replied without hesitation, "A lie? Then ask your children how many times they saw me crying in silence." Amanda's voice grew stronger. "At family gatherings, she laughed while humiliating me in front of everyone. And when I stayed quiet, she thought I was weak." Several people lowered their eyes in shame, turning Michael against me. Amanda turned toward Michael. "And the biggest truth of all? She always turned you against me. She kept telling you, you deserve better than her." Michael's face changed color. Maria shouted angrily, "I did everything for your own good." Amanda replied coldly, "No, you did everything for control." The church atmosphere changes. Now people were no longer looking at Amanda as a criminal. They were listening. They were understanding. A woman whispered, "Maybe we never heard her side of the story." Amanda delivered her final words. "Today I didn't just push a body. I buried my silence." The church went completely quiet, and one question echoed in everyone's mind. Are there more secrets Maria is hiding? And what will this family do now? The silence inside the church didn't last long. Amanda's words were still hanging in the air when Maria Thompson slammed her cane hard against the floor. "Enough is enough. Now you're all going to believe this drama?" Her voice was filled with anger, but for the first time there was fear behind her eyes. Maria's counterattack. Pointing her finger at Amanda, Maria shouted, "This woman has been stubborn from the very beginning. She's trying to destroy my reputation. Everything I said was for her own good." Whispers spread through the church again. One relative said, "Maria was never like this." Another replied, "But Amanda's words make sense too." Amanda refuses to stay silent. Amanda spoke calmly but firmly. "If I'm lying, then tell me. Did you ever praise me even once?" Maria fell silent. Two clear groups formed inside the church. Small Blue Diamond, those supporting Maria. She's older, she deserves respect. A mother-in-law has the right to speak. Small Blue Diamond, those supporting Amanda. There is a limit to patience. We never listened to her pain. This was no longer just a family argument. It was the judgment of years of silent abuse. Michael breaks. Michael stood frozen between them. his mother on one side, his wife on the other. In a trembling voice he asked, "Mom, did you really hurt her this much?" Maria looked away. That was the moment. Michael got his answer without words. Amanda looked at everyone and said, "I will not apologize today, because I have done nothing wrong. I have only spoken the truth." Tears filled the eyes of several women in the church. Maria's voice was no longer strong. "You destroyed my family." Amanda replied calmly, "No, the truth did." Michael spoke quietly, "We need to go home and talk. Everything has changed." Amanda nodded. There was no fear in her eyes. Only one question hung in the air. Will Michael stand against his mother? Or will Amanda have to fight yet another battle? The drive back home was painfully silent. Michael's hands were tight on the steering wheel. Amanda stared out the window, calm but emotionally exhausted. Behind them, the church and everything that happened there felt like a life they had already left behind. Finally, Michael spoke. "We can't pretend this didn't happen." Amanda nodded. "I don't want to pretend anymore." As soon as they entered the house, Maria sat down heavily on the couch. For the first time in years, she looked small, uncertain. Michael stood in front of both women. "This ends today." Both Amanda and Maria looked up. Michael took a deep breath. "Mom, I spent years thinking Amanda was just too sensitive. I ignored what was right in front of me." Maria tried to interrupt. "Michael, you don't understand." He raised his hand. "No, for the first time. I do." Amanda remained silent, her heart pounding. Michael turned to Amanda. "If nothing changes, can you live like this anymore?" Amanda answered without hesitation. "No, I already lived like this for years. I won't do it again." Her voice was calm but final. Maria's voice cracked. "So now you're choosing her over your own mother?" Michael replied firmly, "I'm choosing what's right. And what's healthy." That sentence hit Maria harder than any accusation. Michael continued, "Mom, you will no longer control our marriage. No insults. No manipulation. No guilt." Maria stared at him, stunned. "And if you can't respect that," Michael added, "then we will create distance." Silence filled the room. Amanda stepped forward. "I never wanted to destroy a family. I just wanted peace." She looked straight at Maria. "And I won't accept pain in the name of respect anymore." Maria had no answer. That night, Michael helped Maria pack a small bag. Not forever, but enough space for healing or consequences. As Maria left the house, she turned back once. For the first time, she didn't speak. Amanda stood at the doorway watching the car disappear. Michael walked over and said quietly, "I should have protected you sooner." Amanda replied softly, "What matters is, you finally did." They stood together, not perfect, not healed completely, but honest. Later that night, Amanda opened her phone and deleted years of unsent messages, notes, and silent cries. She whispered to herself, "Silence was my past. Choice is my future." The camera fades out on her calm face. Michael didn't hesitate for a second. He stood in front of Amanda and said firmly, "I choose to stand with my wife." The room fell completely silent. Maria looked at her son. There was no anger now, only surprise and a broken pride. "So this is your decision?" Michael nodded. "Yes, Mom. I will no longer sacrifice the woman I promised my life to." Amanda didn't say a word. No tears, no complaints. Just one long breath, as if years of burden had lifted. Maria picked up her bag. She walked to the door, paused for a moment, but didn't look back or speak. The door closed, and with it, one chapter ended. Michael turned to Amanda. "I know I should have protected you sooner, but now, I finally did." Amanda smiled softly. "That's all that matters." Amanda walked to the window and looked outside, thinking, a silent woman is not weak. She only waits for the right time. And finally, for viewer engagement. If something like this ever happened to you in your life, make sure to share it in the comments.